على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد. So we continue with our seminar with Sheikh Muhammad Munir. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and bless his efforts. For those of you that were not here yesterday, he is currently upon completion of his master's degree in the Islamic University of Medina. He graduated from the faculty of Hadith, and he is about to complete his master's degree, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make a way for him to further and continue his studies. Today we're going to take an introduction to Sahih al-Bukhari, and Sheikh Muhammad is going to introduce us of how we can benefit from the most authentic book of Hadith. Every Muslim should know. Every Muslim should know how to utilize something like this. And just before we began, I was speaking with some brothers, and I know we had a rough start to the way we started, but know that if you do not strive to try to attain something and you don't feel any difficulty, then you won't know the true value of it. So inshallah we'll begin. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to benefit from that which we hear, and may He allow us to hear truth and follow it, and may He allow us to be warned and cautioned of evil and stay away from it. فليتفضل Sheikh Muhammad.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بهديه واهتدى بهديه وسنته إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters. What we have today with us is a selection and a simulation of something that you would normally take in the College of Hadith and Islamic Studies. In the Islamic University of Al-Madinah, we have the following schools, or the following colleges or faculties. The first of those faculties was the College of Sharia. The first school, college that they made was the College of Sharia, in which the students of that college are going to take their major in the Islamic legislature, its principles, its issues of theory, and its issues of practice. That's going to be your major. Fiqh, Qada, Usul al-Fiqh, Al-Qawa'id al-Fiqhiyya, Tarikh al-Tashri', the evolution of fiqh. How did it start? How did it begin? How did it evolve? Who was the pioneer? The different madhabs, comparative fiqh, the legal theory, all of these things you're going to specialize in. Then you move on, let's say for example, to the College of Al-Quran al-Kareem, in which you specialize in the different modes and variations of recitation of the Quran. And which you're going to specialize in the different styles and ways of making tafsir, the different books of tafsir. What makes the book of Al-Suyuti different from the book of Al-Tabari? What makes the book of Al-Qasimi different from the book Al-Qurtubi? What is so special about Ibn Kathir's book? The different sciences of the Quran. These are the things that you're going to specialize in. Then we move on to, let's say, for example, the College of Al-Aqidah wa Usul al-Din, or Kulliyat al-Da'wah wa Usul al-Din, in which you're going to specialize in issues of creed and belief, in which you're going to specialize in the proper way and the different styles of techniques of giving da'wah and calling and inviting people to Islam and to the Sunnah, whether they're non-Muslims outside of the bubble, or whether they're Muslims inside of the bubble that need guidance and need instruction and need education and admonishment. You want to learn about the different religions in detail: Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, all these things like this. And what you're going to learn about, that what they call al-madhahib al-asriya, You're going to learn about the different modern day methodologies and ideals and ideas, the different sects and different types of people of faith of the current day. Okay? Whether it be atheism or so on and so forth. Then we move on to the College of Al-Lugha Al-Arabiya, and what you're going to specialize in, the Arabic language and its sciences. They're not going to teach you basic Arabic, but they're going to teach you a high level of Arabic, advanced Arabic, the different balagha, the different in-depth studies of sarf, and of nahu, and of Arabic prose, and of al-adab al-Arabi, the classical poetry, along with the modern day issues of the Arabic language. And then you have that which is called Kulliyat al-Hadith al-Sharif wa Dirasat al-Islamiyya. You have the College of the Honorable Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, along with the Islamic studies. And which you're going to specialize in everything and anything that pertains to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Its infrastructure, how is it declared or determined to be authentic? When does it become authentic? When is it declared to be inauthentic? And you're also going to deal with the internal aspects of the Sunnah. How to understand the vocabulary, the gharib of the Hadith, the fiqh of the Hadith, the different masail, the different issues pertaining to this Hadith, and the madhab of the ulama, the different benefits of Hadith, and the proper way of dissecting Hadith and deducing from it, like we did this morning. Like we did what? This morning, Khurshid, right?
Yeah.
Like we did this morning.
Yeah.
Okay? Also, you're going to learn about the different books of Hadith. What are they? What makes them different? Why? When? How? Everything that pertains to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and any binding science, you're going to study that in detail. These are the majors of the Islamic University of Al-Madinah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. As for the topics that everybody has to study, the shared subjects, then you have At-Tawheed. You're going to learn the basics and in-depth issues of At-Tawheed and Al-Aqidah on a collegiate level. Then you have a tafsir, in which there is a certain amount of the Quran al-Kareem that you must study its tafsir and you must be evaluated in every college, no matter what college you're in. Then you have mathalan al-Nahu. Everybody has to learn a certain level of collegiate grammar. Then al-Sarf, morphology of the Arabic language. Then al-Fiqh. Every college must study a certain amount of comparative fiqh, from this issue to that issue. Then al-Fara'id, rules of inheritance. Okay? Then we have a seerah, for example. Every college, they have to take terms in the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. Learn about his life in detail in the different books that a college student should know about and should be familiar with. Then we have other topics such as Turuq Tadris, Hadr Alam al-Islami, the current day problems with the Islamic world, different ways, different methods of teaching, so on and so forth. This is a glimpse of the Islamic University of Medina. Most brothers who come from America or the UK or Canada or Australia or South or Central America, so on and so forth, most of them are going to study in what we call Ma'had Ta'lim al-Lugha al-Arabiyya لغير الناطقين بها. They have a ma'had, an institute, which is a 2-year program in which non-Arabic speaking people will learn the basics of the Arabic language, will learn the basics of those topics in Arabic. A language program, 2-year prep for the actual college. Some people who come from the Western countries or Eastern countries, people who come from China, Korea, Japan, Indonesia, okay? Some people who come from Mongolia, different places in which they don't speak Arabic as their primary language, also study in that language institute. They're also studying that language institute for 2 years. Then you move on to the actual college. And in your 4th semester of the language program, you choose which college you want to go to. And they ask you, why do you want to go to the College of Hadith? Why do you want to go to the College of Sharia? What makes you want to go to the College of Aqidah? You're from America, you shouldn't go to this college, go to that college. Your people need this, your people don't need that, so on and so forth. But you're still free to choose at the end of the day. Therefore, the college is normally finished in 4 years. When a person graduates his selected or chosen college, it will have that which is equivalent in America or the West as a bachelor's degree. If you finish the language program, then he'll have that which we call an associate's degree. And then 4 years for bachelor's, And then we have that which is called dirasat al-ulya, postgraduate or higher studies, or a person wishes to pursue his master's or her master's or PhD, so on and so forth. This is a brief glimpse of the Islamic University of Al-Madinah. The average student has to go to school at 7:30 p.m. and he stops studying at approximately 12:45 or 1 p.m. Okay? We have an average of 8 to 9 subjects. Each class is about 55 minutes long. We have a teacher that sits and teaches and instructs you the different textbooks, assignments, and a big portion of what you're going to study is based off of your memorization along with understanding. Okay? Even though most of the students, their day begins at the Fajr. Okay? They're on campus. We have that which is called Jami' Ibn Baz. Remember those days, Jibreel?
Can't forget him.
The big masjid, which all the students are sitting. He's in the corner memorizing Quran. He's practicing Arabic poetry. They're studying for a test. He's from this country. He's from Nigeria. He's from Sweden. He's from Indonesia. This person is from Niger. He's from Korea. Everybody in the masjid read and study, and it's like buzzing of bees. Quran memorization. Then some students, they go in and eat their breakfast. Some students may go to sleep. Some students, they hit the snooze button 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times before the alarm clock out the wall. And then they proceed to their respective chambers of study. And the day begins. You stop, you make the Salat al-Zuhr. Some students go home and eat lunch. Some students may take a nap. Others may stay up. And most of the students go to the Prophet's Masjid for Salat al-Asr. The Jamia provides you free transportation from the school to the Prophet's Masjid. So you have the ability to sit in the Prophet's Masjid, memorize more Quran, Joshua, study more, sit more, talk more, review more. Then we have different lectures after Asr or after Maghrib. Whether those lectures with Mashayikh or Ulama or teachers, you one-on-one. He's teaching me Ajurumiyya. This guy is teaching me this book on Usul al-Fiqh. I study Bulugh al-Maram with him. I memorize him until I can with him, so on and so forth. And then most of the students, they go back to the Jamia after Salat al-Isha. They rush back to the Islamic cheese bus, whether it's white cheese or yellow cheese. They have both colors. Sahih? You read it? They have both colors, okay? And you have to fight your way back into the bus, literally. Literally. Tayyib. And then you go back to the Jamia. Most students will probably go back to the Jamia, maybe stay up for a little bit. The true students, the real students are going to study some more. They're going to make some more review. They're going to go outside. They're going to take their mushafs, take their books, and they're going to walk back and forth. Some of them exercise. Some play soccer. Others do martial arts. All kinds of stuff. And then they go to sleep. And the next thing, the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So the Islamic University of Medina is considered like a center for ilm. And there are students from approximately 150 different nationalities from every corner of the world, all studying in the Islamic University of Medina. Black, white, red, yellow. And inshallah, their purpose is all one purpose. And that is to seek knowledge of the deen, and to go back to their countries, to spread that knowledge, to teach that knowledge, and to defend Islam from anyone who wishes to harm or bother their religion. This is a brief glimpse of the Islamic University of Medina. When you're about to graduate, you have the following options. You can either apply for a master's, or you can apply for the diploma program, or you can pack up your things and you can go back to your country. Most students who live in the Islamic University of Medina, they probably stay there for what, maybe 5 years, 6 years, 2 years in language program, 4 years in college, a year they took off, may have felt some topics, maybe did some extra study. 6 years, okay? They encourage you to buy books, to purchase a lot of books, and every student of knowledge should have his own or her own personal library. Whether it's a 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, a small room, a big room, but a staple part of being a student of knowledge is having your own books. So when you graduate, there's a service in which they provide your books to be sent back to America for free. Now, there's a graduation party that you go to, and you actually go to the graduation party before you actually graduate. In the 8th semester, 2 semesters every year, they make the party of those who have passing grades, and they encourage all of the students to wear their natural or normal clothes, the clothes that you wear in your country. In other words, you came from Indonesia, you wore the white thobe, or as they say, jalabiyah, or whatever you want to call it, but they say, no, we want you to wear your izar and your shirt and your kufi. We want you to look, in other words, they want to show the diversity of the students. So they encourage the students to dress in their clothes that they wear in their country. Then they go out, alhamdulillah, they take you out, maybe half an hour, 45-minute drive. You go out to like a istiraha, like a place which is open, field, you're away from the city. They play soccer, sit down, have fun, have pool, they have a feast. They give you some books, maybe some brief basic lectures, and then you go home and that's your graduation party. Okay? Then upon finishing national college is when you're presented with your shahada, with your degree. And to make things, or to show you how different things can be overseas in college there, on your degree, it is advice on your degree. And the president of the school, or the principal of the school, he says, the Islamic University of Medina testifies and bears witness that Fulan ibn Fulan has completed his studies of this level with this GPA, his average, and we advise him with the fear of Allah, and we ask Allah to make him from the ulama who act upon their knowledge. That's what's on your degree. So that, I don't think it has on your degree from the University of Tennessee, huh? Huh? MTSU. Doesn't have that on there, does it? In Islamic University, that's what it says on your degree. So it goes to the seriousness of studying in this college. And it's a college, it's accredited for you to have the purpose of teaching in your country, but it's not just a dunya degree. However, it's a means of evaluation. That this student has come to us, he's learned these things, we have tested him, and he's proven that he is worthy to bear that title, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, him or her will go back to his country, and they will be a da'iyah, a caller to Allah, an imam of a masjid, and bi'idhnillah as time progresses, he will continue his studies, she will continue her studies, reading, studying, teaching, researching, writing books, authoring things, and bi'idhnillah azza will become from the ulama, from the learned people of the deen. So this here is a summary of the Islamic University of Al-Madinah. Now, you may say, well, what does this have to do with Sahih al-Bukhari, akhi? Once again, Mufti, you're changing the subject. You're off the topic of the subject. We came here to hear about Sahih al-Bukhari. Right? We say that this has a lot to do with Sahih al-Bukhari. And that is because in every college, we have a subject in which we call it in our college of Hadith, called Kutub al-Sunnah, books of the Sunnah. And we also have another topic that is called Tadween al-Sunnah, how the Sunnah was compiled and put together. In both of these topics, or these subjects, you are going to take brief selections, and before those brief selections, you're going to learn about the authors of these books of Hadith, their books, and you're going to take selections from those books, and that's what we're going to do here today, in brief, in the nice subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas an hour and a half or 2 hours is not enough time to talk about such a monumental work such as Sahih al-Bukhari. Before we even get into Sahih al-Bukhari, and before we start talking about Sahih al-Bukhari, we have to have this introduction. Why and how do you study a book like Sahih al-Bukhari? And what is so special about Bukhari? If you do not know the books that came before al-Bukhari, and the books that came after Sahih al-Bukhari, and why that Imam wrote his book, who inspired him, who taught him, and what was so stringent about his conditions and prerequisites, you will not and you cannot value and appreciate Sahih al-Bukhari. It's the most authentic book after the Quran. The Muslims depend upon it. Sunni Muslims, it's their book, so on and so forth, and then that's it. But you're not going to get the true richness and the true sweetness of that book unless you sit down and you take a ride and a tour into the College of Hadith. And until you learn some basic things of this topic, which is called Tadween al-Sunnah. Now, the projector may be a little blurry. If we could, what page are you on, Akhi?
5.
It's page 5?
تدوين في القرن الثالث.
لا, what page? What page number in the PDF? 5. You on page 5 in the PDF? Oh. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. All right, that's not even going to work, guys. What's that? Aywa? Oh, yeah. That's page 53. I knew it wasn't page 5, but I was trying to humble myself. Right, Peshawar? How many times did I ask him? What did they kept telling me? They kept saying what? 5. I knew it wasn't page 5. So hey, Jeremy, right? Right, page 53. Okay, take us to the first page of the book, please. Remember page 53. Good job. I'll send to him. Go to the first page of the PDF, please. First page, not the last. Just click on the window and press 1. Punch in where it says 3 and just press 1 and hit enter. It's really simple. There you go. There you go. Okay, now let's move into the, reduce it a little bit maybe. Move up a little more. That's the official logo of the Islamic University of Medina. As you can see, it is a minaret, a mihrab, a book, and you see rays of sunlight. Okay, as they say about the Islamic University of Medina, it is the Jamia over which the sun never sets. In other words, there's a student from every part of the world studying here. Right, move down a little more. No, go, hey, there you go. Subway surfer, huh? Allahu Akbar. Right, moving on. It says here, Nubdatun. Let's remove my seat. You know, that's a really comfortable chair. It says, Nubdatun mujazatun an tadween sunnati wa tasnifi fiha. This particular item that we have is a brief glimpse into the compilation of the prophetic Sunnah and what was written or authored therein. In other words, the things that led up to Bukhari's book being put together. Why and how and when did al-Bukhari write his book, let alone what about his book? What makes his book the most authentic book? Why isn't it Sahih Muslim? Or why isn't it the Muwatta of Malik ibn Anas? Why Bukhari? What was the determining factor in his book being declared to be so authentic? You can't truly understand, appreciate, and value this until you take this topic in the College of Hadith. And it starts you off with the meaning of the term Sunnah. What does the word Sunnah and Hadith mean? And some of this we explained after Salat al-Fajr. And hopefully the brothers can understand what I was trying to get to. Why it's vital to understand the terminology. Before you go further, you have to understand the actual word and what it means. What does the word Sunnah mean? What is the status of the Sunnah in al-Islam? Why is Muhammad's way so important for your worship, for your belief system, your practice of Islam, politics? Why is the Sunnah so important? You study all of this. And the importance of the Sunnah is paramount status, and the obligation of following it and submitting to it is going to lead you up to having full respect for Sahih al-Bukhari. Because now you come to the realization that there is a necessity for the authentic Sunnah and there's a resource for the authentic Sunnah. And from the best of those resources is Sahih al-Bukhari. Then moving on, the author of this specific book and the topic itself in the College of Hadith, it speaks about something that happened to the Muslims, in which there was a group of Muslims that came about and they said, we're not accepting anything that's outside of the Quran. If it's not in the Quran, it doesn't mean anything. If it's a hadith, quote unquote, or sunnah, quote unquote, then we're not going to accept that thing. And what did the companions do with those people? What did the tabi'un do with those people? How did they deal with them? And then another group came later on that said we would accept the sunnah as a whole, but specific types of hadith we would not accept. And then another group who came and they said we accept the sunnah as a whole, but there's some hadith that go against the aql, that go against human intellect and human reason. And the ulama of hadith, they spoke and they explained how they dealt with those people. And then you continue your studies and you learn about how the Sunnah was actually preserved. Was it recorded during the time of the Prophet ﷺ? Or was it all passed down by oral tradition? How was it recorded? Why was it recorded? Then you learn about the different evolution, or the different types of evolution of the books. There was no Sahih al-Bukhari for a very long time. There were notes. See what you're doing right there, Akhi? Just like that. There were pads. There were scrolls that some of the companions had. They had things that they had memorized and things that they wrote down and they kept with them. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, he said that he had his scroll and his scabbard inside of the sheath for his sword. This companion, his thing was beneath his pillow. He had more books, and so on and so forth. This companion wrote that companion. He wrote this companion. And they started putting these things together. And then a time came in the Islamic history in which there was a great leader of the Muslims, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah wa radiya anhu. He had an idea. And he said, let's gather all of these different notepads that we have on hadith, all of these different memorandums, these scattered documents, and let's put them in one place. And he put this task upon a great scholar of Islam who was Imam Az-Zuhri, rahimahullah, who died in the year 127 of the Hijrah. So Az-Zuhri was there in Medina, and also he went to Sham. And then we had Ma'mar ibn Rashid and Abdul Razak al-San'ani, who were in Yemen, and Al-Awza'i, who also was in Sham. And then we had different ulama in Kufa, and Basra, and Baghdad, and different parts of the Islamic world. They all started putting together these different books. But the books were not necessarily organized. They were not necessarily categorized. Alphabetical order, topic matter. It was a compilation of narrations that they put together. Stop now? Right. We're going to stop here for the adhan. And bi'idhnillah azza wa jal, after the salah, we are going to continue this brief introduction. And please, brothers and sisters, everybody bear with me. Okay? Don't get bored or don't get disappointed. He's not talking about Bukhari. This is going to lead up to understanding and having a value for Sahih al-Bukhari. You must know the history of something. If you want to know about a movement or cause, what's the first thing you should read about? Is what? Now, before the history of this, what? Is what? There you go. The reason why they made that cause. Why did they start saying this? Why did they revolt? Why did this revolution take place? What was the reasons? Then when and how? Who were the first people? And how did this one complaint lead to a full-scale war? You have to understand that if you want to get a thorough understanding of the actual revolution. So if you want to understand Bukhari and benefit from it and learn from it, you have to understand how it came to be. Why Bukhari wrote his book and why those ulama encouraged him to put his book together in the unique, unprecedented manner in which he did. This is vital. If you don't get this, then you're not going to really, be on point like that. No one knows better. So we'll stop here for the adhan. How much minutes before the end of the comment?
It's right now. They made the adhan.
Okay, we'll stop. Okay, class. So any questions or comments, we'll take them later on after the end of the second session. Wallahu a'lam. If you have any questions or concerns about what we mentioned, please write it down so you don't forget.
Okay. So right at the start, we cut right into it.
But I mean, do you want to have that section still for?
Just get save automatically by it.
You know what I'm saying?